Consider the code someone might type during an algo rave. Is the final code a music composition or a residue of the performance itself? Although a person might be able to run the final iteration of code to listen to music, i.e. a composition, it will likely lack the development and alterations over time that resulted in an expression heard by an audience, i.e. a performance. In such a scenario, we might consider code as both performance and composition depending on the context. But what about the code that creates music software rather than the music and sound made with such software? End quote. So on the next page, I basically describe how when I created one of the programs that I shared on there that allowed me to record and loop back a few different tracks of myself performing something, and it was quantized to a metronome that I had programmed, the vast majority of my time was spent sitting in front of a computer, engaging in practices that people might not consider to be music related because I was just programming. Maybe like 5% of the time I'd actually try out the software, perform something, see how it worked, tried to find bugs, etc., and then went back to programming. However, when engaging this process and like the infinite drum set that I made, etc., I would argue that all of it was for musical purposes and engaged in musical thinking, problem solving, etc., and it just happened to be through the medium of programming. So because of this, I think it is more than relevant to music educators in particular who might be skeptical about, yeah, well, you're not really making much music. Okay, you're correct, but you are thinking about music. You're applying your concepts and musical understandings throughout the entire process. So from my perspective, it is very relevant to music educators. So if you do have any friends who are music educators who are skeptical about this intersection, feel free to have them listen to this article or read the article or even reach out to me. All three of my degrees are music education. I've worked with every grade, kindergarten through doctoral student in music education, in ensembles, general music, music education, etc. contexts. So hopefully that background kind of helps music educators go, oh, Jared's one of us, and they say that this is related to music. Maybe I should listen. Because quite frankly, some music educators are pretty skeptical about this, especially if it comes from somebody who's only done computer science and doesn't have a background in music education. This excerpt of the CSK8 podcast is from episode number 121 and is titled Intersections of Popular Musicianship and Computer Science Practices.